Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back to another solo character challenge run this time with the Chemist. We have just had a large portion of the planning stage done, and I would say let's just get going here. Why does my button not work? Button? Control, start. I don't know why my splits didn't start. And hey Kia, welcome. Tira Craftlight playing. Yes, actually that's going to be probably part of it too, because I'm going to be farming turtle shells for a while, so I might as well do the rest of the planning during the turtle shell grind. Chemist seems like it's going to be a pain in the butt, lots of farming. We'll see. We'll see. One thing we also don't really know yet is whether we can take on the machine head enemies and get the dark matters early, or more dark matters for that matter. There's not really a whole lot of reason for us to get any dark matters early, so there's that. Hey, welcome, how are you doing? So either way, as soon as the intro is over, we will decide whether we are going to be using Butts or Ferris as our main character. So, exclamation mark raffle in order to join the raffle to decide who will be telling us to choose Butts or Ferris. We will basically choose one person as random, or more specifically the bot chooses, and that person will be able to tell us is it going to be Butts or is it going to be Ferris as soon as this intro is done. Also, I will be choosing a second person, and that second person can make up a name for Butts. So if you have any ideas for names, think them up, and if you can't think of any names but you got chosen, but that's not what you signed up for, you just say pick again and we will just choose the next person. Violet, Lena or Kara. Quite simple. Essentially Butts and Ferris are pretty much available for most of the encounters around. And that's kind of the important part. Lena is missing for a large stretch of the game, where she's not in the pyramid and Merogene, so basically an entire area plus a major boss. And then also on top of that, for Galuf, he is missing for the 3 meteor mini-bosses, which they can be quite a pain, and just more or less quote-unquote skipping them would be a bit awkward. Ferris is only missing against the Antlion mini-boss. We do have experience getting past that thing by now, with just the classes. Also, one thing that I wanted to do in this one too is figure out whether we can reasonably get past certain mini-bosses, like the fight against Gilgamesh with Solo Galuf at the start of World 2, and or the fight against the Antlion at the start of World 3, whether we can somehow just use a solo class but with low level in order to get past that. If we can reasonably do it, I will aim to do that and plan ahead of it. If it's not so reasonable, we're probably just going to ignore that part. So Butts is only one that is there the whole time. Mostly, yes. He's missing for the one boss that Galuf kills, and it's not even much of a boss, really. Alrighty, raffle is almost over. Make sure to have written exclamation mark join in order to decide who we will be choosing as our main character. As soon as the meteor lands, I will pick the person. Also, once again, the name for Butts, his character, is going to be chosen by the second raffle winner. Alrighty. Let's see, the winner is Sanevin. Alrighty, Sanevin, please tell us which character we should choose. Either Butts or Ferris as our main characters. By the way, I'm going to go ahead, put battle speed to slow once again, just kind of to explain what we do, I'm doing the config menu while you're choosing. Let's go with butts. Alrighty, sounds good. And also the second winner will be able to choose the name for butts in this case. If you have something chemist related, that would be appreciated. If not, just choose something that is preferably appropriate. Either way, battle speed is set to 6. Battle speed actually only affects enemies and not our character. So if you have battle speed 1 where it's very fast, that is basically hard mode because enemies go faster than they normally would. So just put it to 6 because that's what I always do. Message speed or fast, just so it's faster. Command set. So you either have a list of commands where the top is fight, the second one is your special ability 1, special ability 2 is the third one, and then items is the fourth one. If you go for short, then it's more like a up is fight, left is your first ability, right is your other ability, and down is the items. I prefer the short command because it's easy to select the specific menus. And then we have memory cursor. So the game remembers which option or item we chose last in our inventory, or also in combat, which action we took. Re-equip whenever we, change jobs and stuff like that. Controller, you can actually play this game with multiple controllers, assigning a character to a different class. Let's actually have a bit of green and yellowish in there, I would say. How do we get yellow? I don't think yellow looks particularly good, by the way. I don't know what color we want to choose for a chemist. I was thinking a bit of green. Also, maybe brown? More yellow would be great, I guess. That's okay. Doesn't look the greatest, actually. Either way, we are going to be choosing butts as our main character, so we will just stick with this, and let's go. Your eyes. If you have a better suggestion, I don't think this is a good color. Hey Kaneki, welcome. How are you doing? Red? A bit of red is fine. Baby poo green. Yep, that sounds about right. Can I make the background color black? Oh, wait a second. That blue is kind of glaring. This blue? Oh, I always change background color. I hope red is, or that deep red isn't too bad. Either way, thank you very much for choosing butts. Third winner chooses color. I mean, I guess we could do that. Did I choose? Oh yeah, Philly Bobcat. Philly Bobcat. You just want to name Butts Hobo. Okay, I mean, I guess we could do that. I mean, Hobo, I think is literally just short for homeless bottom or bosom, or I think. Which, I mean, Butts is not technically homeless. He does have a home in terms of a city, although not necessarily a home in terms of a house to stay. So, it's somewhat accurate. We're not in sync? I'm just terrible at reading chat in time, sorry. Alrighty, thank you for choosing, guys, I appreciate that. Yay for broken job class, with a lot of farming and planning ahead involved. But yeah, as someone already mentioned, we will be able to plan ahead, or do the rest of the planning, while we are farming anyways. And I kind of didn't even think about that, but it's true. I can't just plan while I'm farming turtle shells on the side, which means I probably even want to have a separate layout for that, like where the game isn't on the side. Isn't Chemist after the Earth Crystal? Yes, normally, but I'm going to be using a cheat code in order to unlock the Chemist early. Ramles, thank you for the raid, I appreciate that. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to you guys. I hope you're doing well. Also, if I may ask, what were you doing over there, Ramles? Welcome, guys. This challenge seems hard enough to figure out. You would choose a character that is with you always. That's fair. Ferris is generally a little bit faster than Butts. in terms of actual speed and agility, but Butts has a higher base strength, which actually is going to be a lot nicer to get past the very first real boss, that is Carboss. Also, one thing I have decided to do is, instead of waiting until we get the wind crystal on the first set of jobs, I'm going to be turning our character into the job as soon as we enter the wind shrine. So we will be fighting already the wing raptor with the appropriate job. Since it's always possible that we will choose fairies instead, that's why I'm not to choose any earlier than that. PB hype! Nice, congratulations! A nice and shiny PB for Valkyrie Profile 2. Nice. That was awesome. How long have you been running Valkyrie Profile 2 now, if I may ask? Also, is that one the one with the guest characters from Skies of Arcadia? By the way, here, Butts will always reach level 2. You cannot run away from these combats, you have to defeat those guys. So, no matter what you do, the lowest level Butts will have is level 2. Well, 3 or so months. I see. Nice. I see. Well, I mean, looks like you have the clear potential for that. So good luck with your next attempt, assuming you're going to do some. Also, once again, if anybody would like to have a look at the plan that we've made so far, and also maybe use the template for yourself, or just kind of have an overview as to how we are doing so far in our challenge run, here is the link to the spreadsheet, if you'd like to take a look. You cannot edit, but you can, as a matter of fact, just copy it, as in duplicate the spreadsheet if you would like to use it for yourself. $10? That's really good, actually. Nice. Congratulations. It's a 3D tactics RPG, or tactics game, isn't it? I think. If math is in Final Fantasy V as well, there is indeed math in this game, a lot of it. And the first set of math I'm gonna do as soon as we get bots in our party, because the first set of math I will do is to figure out which level I want to reach before we start reading Carboss. Because Carboss is always pretty much a huge roadblock for a lot of characters, especially the ones that don't have any particular tools to deal with him. We just need to get lucky enough in order to get past him. There will be probably plenty of deaths, and one of the weakest showcases for our little chemist. I don't feel like there's much of a reason for me to kill off my characters right now, because I don't plan on killing anything in this game anyways. But since I do know that Butts is now going to be my main character, I would say it would be fair game to just kill off Lena and Galaf and start killing enemies in here, if you really wanted to do that. But generally speaking, I don't feel like it's really worth it. There's that. So, one of the biggest downsides of our chemist is going to be that we need a lot of money, and we don't actually have any reasonable way of using area of effect to deal with stronger enemies. So, one thing I want to actually just check really quick is whether the prototypes have any particular weakness. The prototypes are an enemy that is kind of like an optional mini-boss you can go and attack just on the side islands next to Crescent. As soon as you have access to a ship, you can actually go ahead and defeat prototypes. And their... Is it a common drop? Yeah, their common drop or always drop is actually dark matter, which the Chemist is the only class that cares about getting dark matter. So if we can defeat those guys somehow, we might be in good shape. Let me see real quick what he uses and what he might have immunities to. So he has immunity to Toad, Mini, Poison, Aging, Sleep, Paralyze, Charm, and Stop. We have access to Death, Toad, Poison, Blind, Charm, and Berserk. So in theory we could Berserk it. But isn't it that I need Dark Matter for the Berserk, so that's kind of pointless. Yeah, what I reminisce said, Cinny. Pretty much accurate. Butts and fairies are there for almost all the bosses, and are only missing for one mini-boss each. Fairies for a bit of a more annoying mini-boss in the ant line, but nothing too drastic. And once again, this time around I do plan on trying to defeat those guys with the solo character. If it doesn't work out within reason, I will just go and do our old strategies. And thank you for the good luck, I appreciate that. So, the prototype enemy, if we had Dragon Fangs, we could make ourselves heavy and we would no longer die to Blaster and not take any damage from missiles. Only the mustard bombs would actually still hurt. And they have 100 magic defense. Wow. I don't think we have a way to get through that. They have 100 physical defense. So we could use Split Shell. So in theory, we can take on prototypes. We need to have Fire Absorb. But this is really in case I want to get some more dark matters. And really, the biggest deal is going to be knowing whether I want to have more dark matters ahead of time before I will be able to get more or farm them. Homo Fantasy 5. Something like that. Kyo, thank you. Thank you so much for the gifts up to Cinny. Well, Cinny, I hope you enjoy the emotes and enjoy your stay. Thank you very much, Kyo. That's really kind of you. What was the ability again to deal elemental damage? Dragon Fang plus Dragon Fang is elemental damage. I mean, in theory, I will have 2 Dragon Fangs by then, and we'll be able to test whether it does indeed target the weakness. Oh wait! I didn't realize that until now, but prototypes actually do not have any elemental weakness. Oh wow. So I could, in theory, trade 1 Dragon Fang for a Dark Matter. Because I would want to use a Dragon Fang to get immunity to instant death and halving abilities. Forget what the specialty attack of the prototypes is. Alrighty, and we are going to be a chemist. Once again, kind of... Sure, he's going to lead me over there, whatever. Once again, unlike the previous solo character challenges, which I changed after acquiring the Wind Crystal, I'm going to be changing up right now, basically as soon as we have our full party assembled. Which means we are going to be emptying your equipment, emptying your equipment, emptying your equipment, and change the job for our hobo to be a chemist. Once again, I'm using a cheat code in order to unlock all the jobs early, otherwise we would be missing out on a lot of jobs in order to be able to use them. And where's the chemist? As in, we would be missing out on some jobs for a long time until we can finally use them. There's the chemist. Double the effects of potions and ethers. Pretty good. Our best weapon right now is a dagger. A dagger does quite decent damage, I would say. We also have slightly more maximum HP than before, which is nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you the broadsword, I'm gonna give you the knife, and Ferris unfortunately doesn't have anything. And that's how we start as a chemist. Okay, one thing I forgot to check. So, chemist starts with 30 strength and 28 agility. Once again, I'm gonna plug those numbers into my little calculator thing. And the agility is actually kind of like before. And 30 strength. Alrighty, with this, the the calculator tells me at level 9 I get another additional attack multiplier. So do I at level 13. But interestingly enough, at level 9 I gain an attack multiplier and I still have the agility multiplier. Which means I have a triple. So unless I go specifically to level 14, I do not gain any more power in between level 9 and level 14. So it's going to be either level 9 or level 14. It really depends on how comfortable I am with the health total of our character. Level 9 is probably too low for the health total, so I will likely go for level 14 instead, before facing Carboss. And hey Anonicus, welcome. Hope you're doing well. You did just miss the raffle. Yeah, sorry about that. Did you actually sign up for it? Let's see. Ah, you didn't. Sorry, Volsk. Maybe next time. And Scala Kitty! Thank you for the raid. I really appreciate that. Welcome guys, I hope you're doing well. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We have just started the solo character, single character challenge for the Chemist. And once again, I'm using a cheat code in order to unlock the Chemist job early. In fact, as soon as we have the full party gathered, we go with a Chemist and kill off the other characters, and that's where it really starts. Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Yes, Scala Kitty, by the way, pretty talented artist. Can recommend. Also, I did hear another thing. Oh god. Oh my goodness. Woodstock. Or not Woodstock, thank you. Thank you, not Woodstock, for the $50 donation. And it just reads, Yaga H! Thank you so much, not Woodstock. That is really kind of you. I really, really appreciate that. Where are all the enemies, by the way? There is some. Alrighty. Just gonna hit everybody with themselves. Making sure we don't take any damage from the wind snake in their second turn. Those wind snakes, they use a form of wind elemental damage in their second turn. So I just kind of want them to preferably not use that against us, or against me. The other characters right now kind of act as an accidental meat shield. Which is not intended, but it's just kind of... They don't have enough power to kill themselves outright easily. So I have to help out a little bit here. White snakes, by the way, can paralyze us. Thankfully that hasn't happened so far. I'm pretty happy about that. Alrighty. Begin a level. Did we just gain 2 levels? No, just 1. No, we did get 2. Because we were level 2 before. Alrighty. I'm gonna go in here and grab the broadsword real quick. We cannot equip it, but it will be helpful. So, I will need levels as a chemist. So I'm going to aim to gain some. Plus, along the way, what I will want to do is I would hopefully get some elixirs as well. Elixirs are incredibly valuable because they just heal you to full. Chemist does not have as much of a need for elixirs as other classes because you can use various mixes to substitute for elixirs, but we won't get those necessarily until a bit later. Further, we need ability points in order to unlock our chemist abilities. Right now we have 2 out of 15 ability points in order to, well, learn the next chemist ability, and that is pretty much what I'm aiming for. I want to unlock the mix before I even face the first boss. Oh my goodness. Valkith, thank you so much for the 5 random gift subs. Thank you so much, Valkith, and anybody who has received a random gift sub, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy your stay, and well, maybe you even have use for the emotes. Thank you so much. You love this emote. I love the Grimer emote too, it's so great. So once again, one of the abilities of a chemist is that we can use potions in combat specifically for double the effect, potions and ether. So this will be quite handy. Also, I think once I level up once more, the black goblins with their goblin punch will deal an insane amount of damage. 8 times damage. Because goblin punch deals 8 times, or was it 16 times damage? I think it was 8 times damage, always hits and ignores defense if you are the same level as your opponent using goblin punch. Can a hobo proficient in chemistry save the world? Find out here. Eventually, once we get through the game. Probably. Chemist is, I dare to say, the single most powerful class in Final Fantasy V, because Chemist has access to abilities and status effects and modifications, or buffs for that matter, no other class actually has. So it is pretty extreme in that respect. Alrighty, we gained another level. I'm gonna go ahead and save before I do anything else. Because now it's getting dangerous trying to fight goblins. And this is kind of part of the reason, this little boss here, why I want to unlock the chops beforehand already. So all 3 of those enemies right now are actually dangerous. Goblin Punch deals a tremendous amount of damage. Those wind snakes, or mold wind as they are called, they will have a chance to use their wind ability, which deals like 60 to 70 damage. And white snakes can just paralyze me. I think it's a 1 in 3 chance for them to use paralyzation. So yeah, not the most pleasant. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I will actually go into the combat right now without healing first. Stand guard! And then I will use a potion in combat. Once again, the medicine ability allows the potions to have twice the effect. So this means instead of just healing for 50, like regular potions do, our potions heal for 100. And while that might not sound like a tremendous amount, it will actually end up being quite a bit over the course of the battles. Also, we have the drink ability. Once again, drink is for specific items that we can drink. Drink are potions like Giant's Drink, Protect Drink, haste drink, and I don't know whether there's any others. Either way, the basic idea of drink is that it just gives you various buffs as, well, by consuming specific items that you need to specifically go and buy. But those items are relatively cheap, so I'm not exactly worried about it. Using another potion. Breathwing is, by the way, deals 25% of my maximum health in damage. So I would like to see not Breathwing being used by this guy, but so far luck hasn't been exactly on my side. Worth noting that over here is the first time I can pick up a staff weapon, or is it a rod? I think it's a staff weapon if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I needed to kill the black goblin. Please don't goblin punch me. Ouch. Oh! Are they level 7? I thought they were level 6. Well, it's okay. Either way, let's just get off this thing through the wall. Stuff. And Chemist is one of the 2 classes, actually one of the 3 classes if you count advanced jobs in there too, that can use thieves. So yeah, thank you so much, Falkith. So this is where you normally get your first set of jobs. You get Knight, Monk, Thief, Black Mage, White Mage and Blue Mage. But since we have Chemist as the solo character challenge, I used the cheat code to just unlock our little Chemist already. The Spirit of Water. Kindness. The Spirit of Earth. Hope. The Wind of Pursuit. I might have too many things open for the planning stage. The PC slows down a little. Alright guys, thank you so much for being so kind. It really means a lot to me having, well, quite a lot of people just enjoying what I do. And it is something that I enjoy doing too, so it's pretty nice. Kind of interesting that Ferris actually initially is excluded from receiving any crystal herself right away. Alrighty. Now, we could just step onto the teleporter in the backside in order to get back outside. But we can also just walk backwards. Not entirely sure what I'm gonna do. The thing is, I will want to stock up on some potions, just so I will have... I want to stock up on potions, just so I have more sustainability in the farm here. Once again, our goal level is either going to be level 9, or, because level 9 is kind of low, more likely going to be level 14, just so we deal more damage to Carboss. I actually need to figure out some point what are the ideal levels to deal with Carboss, specifically with a dagger, because this will come up with quite a few times. Because Carboss is one of those bosses where you would like to minimize the amount of attacks you need in order to defeat them. And if we just reach certain thresholds, that would help. I see. Well then, Sanavan, may I ask, what would be the reason why you haven't completed Final Fantasy V so far? So, we just learned medicine. Medicine is the first ability that we learn, and it doubles the effect of potions and ethers. This is a passive that the Chemist already has, so there's no reason for us to equip it at all. So we need another 30 ability points to unlock Mix. So that means probably like 30 battles, because right now we gain like 1 ability point per battle in order to unlock the Mix ability, and that is where the Chemist powers really rise to insanity. But before that, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab stuff. Unlike other characters, I will not be selling the ethers, even though I don't use any MP as the Chemist ever. I just want to have the ether for mixing purposes, because there's a lot of mixes that involve ethers that are really powerful. So there's that. Also, conveniently enough, because we do not have fairies as our main character this time around, I don't have to worry about getting to the training or the House of Beginners later. The House of Beginners, of course, as you might be able to tell, I'm not exactly a beginner anymore, but there's just so conveniently a bunch of items laying around. Worth noting that there's an ether here, worth 750 gold if you sell it, meaning you pay 1,500 to buy it. So it is pretty expensive. On top of that, there is a Phoenix Down, which you pay 1,000 gold to buy it. So that's pretty awesome. Then there's this random little encounter here where you get leather shoes. Leather shoes give us +1 defense. 1 defense is not a whole lot, but it is actually relevant enough that I would like to get any little form of defense that I can in order to have better resistances against Carboss. Because once again, that guy will not be exactly pleasant to deal with. There's a free pair of leather boots or leather shoes that I can get in a place just northeast of here. From the house anyways. I did not need to defeat that goblin for it, but I might as well. Not much of a reason not to. There are so many great games in such little time. It's true. To me personally, it's also kind of... it feels like the older I got, the more I just want to stick to the games I already know rather than play games I'm not familiar with yet. Which is not always true, but it is very often the case. And then again, I just really like challenge runs. Challenge runs can be speedruns, by the way, which there will be some, but this kind of challenge run is just really intriguing to me. It gives me a specific goal to accomplish, and I'm always much more happy to work towards a specific goal, and I'm even more motivated to go for that goal if it's a little bit crazy at times. Just a little. Yeah, Chemist is the definition of knowledge is power. If you know how to use a Chemist and where to get the ingredients, you can do pretty much anything with it. I am currently contemplating to try and take on Omega, because Chemist can't defeat Omega straight up. Mediator run when people choose the next job. Actually, that reminds me, I forgot to activate the announcement again. Here, edit, enable this announcement. Oh, I forgot to activate the announcement for which job class to choose next. There is actually a straw poll available if you go !SSCC right here. There's a straw poll you can choose which character you would like to see next after the Chemist. The Chemist is probably going to take a while, but not for the same reason that it would take a while for a Thief. It will probably take a while because while it is a really powerful class, it might not be the fastest. So yeah, feel free to vote in the straw poll which character class you would like to see next. You can choose multiple ones you want to vote for. So there's that. Eh. What? There's no shoes in here anymore? Or There's no shoes in here anymore? Did I pick them up already? Am I just having a brain fart? Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I'm just having a brain fart. I already picked them up. Never mind, ignore me. Mediator is the same as Beastmaster, actually. Yeah, I already got them. I'm just there. So, I don't need the leather helmet, leather shield. I don't actually want the broadsword. Don't need the leather armors anymore. You don't need the stuff. These are not really worthwhile at all if you can use daggers. Daggers are really good. Don't need the second pair of leather boots. And I will not use the tents. So, we just invest everything into potions. Once again, we are lacking the ingredients to use mixes effectively right now, because there's nowhere we can buy them. So instead, we will be just restricted to using potions for healing purposes, and that's it. Also elixirs. I will want to get probably like 3 or 4 elixirs in order to deal with Carboss more reasonably well. Which is another reason as to why we get to level 14. There's a few classes that can deal with Carboss a lot more easily and more reasonably well. Among others, Blue Mage, Black Mage, Oracle actually can deal really well with Carboss. Geomancer, maybe? I'm actually not sure about that. Geomancer might have interesting abilities that work. Ferris is still dead now? I never realized that. That's interesting. Alrighty, what else? Mystic Knight can deal really well with Carboss as well. Ninja just deals damage, I guess. Not the greatest daggers though. But slightly more damage output than most other classes. Red Mage can deal pretty well with him as well, since it has access to red magic. Samurai can just skill toss it, so it's a one-shot. Summoner doesn't have anything. Thief doesn't have anything. Beastmaster might... Actually, yes, Beastmaster can just capture a good animal in order to deal with Carboss. And a Freelancer doesn't have anything. But I've done that before, so it's not too terrible. Black Mage... pretty powerful, as mentioned before. Hunter doesn't have anything, unfortunately. Knight can get two-hand and deal pretty good damage with broadsword. So, having a little edge over there. Did Ferris get revived? No, she's still alive. Okay. But yeah, by the way, Mediator and Beastmaster is the same. It's just different translations for the same job class. I don't usually use Mediator because Mediator is such a weird name that I usually don't remember it. So, we are back here. Once again, we need a certain level in order to get past Carboss, so... This is the best place to grind, because we also have a chance to get elixirs. It's actually not the best place to grind in terms of having a chance, or just speed, to reach levels, for that matter. But it's the best place to grind for having also a chance to get elixirs, and we do need elixirs. That will be pretty much a requirement. Bye! Monk actually is interesting in that I don't think Monk has a particularly good way to deal with Carboss. But the early damage for a Monk might be good enough so it doesn't have much trouble. Gladiator has it really easy if we decide to use the special ability that just deals max damage. Have I already done the Dancer run? Yes, actually. Dancer was run number 3 that we did. So, for the most part, if you don't see certain characters in the Strap Hall, that is because I've already beaten the game with them. Ouch, there's the Goblin Punch. Ouch, 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 ouch. So we need to level up quickly in order to avoid Goblin Punch dealing so much damage. Once again, Goblin Punch deals 8 times damage of your base attack. If you are the same level as the enemy. It's a very weird requirement, but it just makes those little goblins real painful. Dancer Run is not on YouTube yet, I think. Actually, no. No, I have... Yeah, actually I need to highlight that still. I have Dragoon on YouTube so far, so I will need to put Dancer and also Blue Mage on YouTube still. I'm always a little bit, you could say lazy with highlighting, but that's not entirely accurate. It's more like, it's actually a lot of work in disguise. Like you would think, oh, I'm not doing a whole lot with highlighting, but interestingly enough, while it's not difficult, it's still quite the time investment for that matter. On a healing combat, so I get double the use for a potion. Also, all those Moldwind enemies are specifically what I want to kill. I would like to see a lot of those guys because they have a 1 in 3 chance, 1 in 16 chance to drop an elixir. One of them just dropped an elixir, that's pretty awesome. Either way, when I recently, I guess not that recently anymore, had Ruff ask me, hey, I would like to do something more for you, what could I do? And I said, you could potentially highlight stuff for me, if you'd like to. So I started explaining to him what the process is of highlighting stuff, and that's when I realized there's actually a lot of things going on when highlighting, like creating a thumbnail, then also highlighting each one of those things individually, finding the proper start and ending point, exporting them potentially to YouTube, and then putting the thumbnail there as well, and also proper tags and description. It's a bit of time investment. But yeah, Dancer was very random. It was definitely a very strong contrast to the Blue Mage that we played right after, where Dancer, you never knew what you get. And in various instances, the problem was not necessarily even that the Dancer's damage was just entirely unreliable, but a large portion was that the Dancer just has so little maximum HP that it became a huge detriment. Oh wow, 2 elixirs already, that's really lucky. I'm gonna go back and save, just so I don't accidentally die and lose them. Speaking of maximum HP, the Chemist, even though Chemist doesn't have the highest vitality stat, 33 is actually pretty decent still. But even though it could go way higher, he will pretty much have the most HP of any of my solo characters, aside from maybe Monk. Because you can just go ahead and double your HP with a Giant Strength. It doesn't stack, like you can only do it at once, but it will make it so much easier to get past a lot of bosses, just because we have a lot more of an HP buffer. You think Thief is difficult? Yes. Thief is one of those classes that you would generally label to be relatively insane to do a solo character challenge with, because the Thief's strength is so low, and your agility does not make up for it. Plus, you don't really have much in terms of abilities that are combat related. You have one thing that you can use in combat, that is an attack and steal at the same time, but that doesn't increase your attack power in any respect at all. So essentially you're just auto-attacking your enemies until they fall. And with such low strength value, you need to grind a lot in order to get past certain specific bosses, such as Biblos and Atmos. Those are probably the biggest two offenders. And yes, Thief's bad weapon selection isn't even the worst. Daggers are actually really good in this game. Like, daggers are really solid. The problem is more in the vein of no offensive abilities at all. Yeah, you get the chicken knife. Once you have the chicken knife as a thief, you breeze through the rest of the game. But until you get there... it will take ages. I really like those Moldwin encounters, my favorites. Yeah, no back attacks is really nice. The thief has a lot of utility. Whenever I play a Forge of Fiesta, thief is one of those classes I would like to have in every team, because the utility of a thief class is just amazing. Plus there's so many items and useful things you can just steal from enemies, where you have essentially access to things well before you normally have access to them. It's just really good. By the way, I would like to point out, we deal 80 damage with a regular swing right now. Once we level up, we will deal less damage. And that is because of a really strange quirk with how the dagger calculates damage. So yeah, about 80 damage right now. Once we level up, we will deal less. And that quirk is essentially this. I'm pretty sure it's a bug in the formula, but the short version is the dagger either adds or doesn't add a little bit of damage, or more specifically, +1 to modifier. The way damage works in Final Fantasy V is you don't really have much in the way of like, you do not gain a little bit of strength every level. You gain more attack power in jumps. Like, for level 4, level 5, level 6, nothing new, and suddenly level 7 we deal like 20 more damage. That's kind of how Final Fantasy V works. And that is essentially all calculated through the use of modifiers on your attack or base attack. Your base attack being calculated by using a function of your weapon strength and... Actually, I think it's just a weapon attack that is used as a baseline. Then you have a multiplier, also called a modifier, of a certain amount. But unless you reach the next full number of a modifier, fractions do not count. That means as soon as we level up, we will actually lose one modifier that is sometimes added through the dagger, sometimes it isn't. Which is also the reason why I will actually gain a little bit of attack power on level 13 already, but I will regain the dagger modifier at level 14, dealing even more damage. How does Thief answer to Melusine? Melusine, you have the chicken knife. You can't just kill her at that point. The chicken knife is the only dagger. Actually, that's not true. The chicken knife and the dancing daggers are the only daggers which have the probably original dagger formula in the entire game, or how all the daggers were probably supposed to deal damage in the entire game, where the chicken knife deals damage, and every other weapon just accounts strength for multiplying that damage. However, the chicken knife also accounts for agility for multiplying damage, so strength and agility with the chicken knife in hand have the same value, essentially. And since the thief actually has a really good agility value, you will be able to deal a lot of damage. I would like to point out that there was a 1 in 16 drop from Goblin and a 1 in 16 drop from one of those roped dudes. The weird money wizards. But yeah, Thief is one of my favorites to have in a party setting, just because no back attacks, you are guaranteed to be able to run from combat, you can even steal really good items ahead of time, well before you can get them in certain instances. It's really awesome. So by the way, 4-drop Fiesta is a thing that I mention pretty frequently. For anybody who does not know what that is, a 4-drop Fiesta is the idea of you are randomly assigned 4 of the possible 19 drops? Or was it 22? Let's actually count real quick. 4 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 jobs. Although usually normal and mimic are not part of the regular deal, so it's about 20 jobs. So 1 out of the 20 jobs you are, or 4 out of the 20 jobs you're randomly assigned. And you can use those jobs however you want, unless you do a specific run that doesn't allow you to do that. Either way, generally speaking, you can use them however you want, just mix and match them between your characters. But you're restricted to those 4 jobs and have to beat the game with them. This can make it somewhat challenging, but also a lot simpler to approach. Because I have mentioned that a lot of times already, but I say it again. To me personally, Final Fantasy V would have been incredibly intimidating and too many choices for what you can choose in terms of what you make with your jobs and your characters. So the fact that I had my very first playthrough in a 4-job Fiesta setting restricted to just 4 jobs was perfect. That way I did not have to worry about which jobs I choose, I just needed to learn what the jobs that I had could do and use them to the best of my ability. And for anybody else who has the problem of if you have too many choices, it's just suddenly you don't know what to do, play a 4-job Fiesta. It's a thing that happens, or you can do. You can just come up with a 4-job Fiesta yourself if you'd like to, or alternatively, there is a yearly event where we play 4-job Fiestas, just kind of as a mini community. It's also a little bit of a donation drive for charity, but the big deal is just a lot of people are pretty much playing 4-job Fiestas at the same time. Which you can share experiences, you can share which characters you've got, which place you've been to, what their difficulties are, or maybe just ask in case you have questions. It's really awesome. You just noticed Butts is called Hobo. Yep. Some stray bobcat may have named him that. Either way, Thief entering to melee scene, you just kill her. You deal enough damage to punch through her, admittedly rather high defense. I may have been a bit very roundabout about that. Does the medicine's ability still apply to items used outside of battle? No. So, we have 108 HP right now. If I use a potion, we have 158. Essentially, it only heals half as much. So, the medicine ability is the idea of your character has the ability to use that item more effectively and uses it on other characters, so to speak. You definitely want to participate in the 4-job Fiesta this year. Nice. It's pretty awesome. Can recommend it. There's quite a few channels that will be streaming 4-job Fiestas too, so there's almost always somebody to watch there, in case you're just curious and watching. The thing is, the way I ended up getting into playing Final Fantasy V is I saw Mage do this stream, I saw Genya do this stream, and most importantly, I saw that RPG Limit Break was actually hosting a race between Huexel, Dragon Dark, Almagus, and Genya, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, it was Happy Squid at the time. And yeah, level 11, just 3 more levels. And essentially they were just commentating on what was happening, what they were doing, how they came up with the strategy, because there's essentially an opening race of the 4-job Fiesta season, where 4 racers, usually rather experienced runners, just plan and get their 4 jobs. Then with their 4 jobs, they just try to get through the game as quick as possible. It's essentially a speedrun under the 4-job fiesta rules. The runners do get their jobs ahead of time, so they can prepare for it and practice and plan. And they just did such a good job commentating this entire thing. It was really awesome. Just need to learn the game better before it rolls around. Actually, just learning the game better while it is around is kind of the easiest way to go about it, I dare to say. Don't have to stress about knowing it beforehand. At least not in my opinion, but that might just be me. Hey IRLead, welcome, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I will be almost guaranteed to be playing some 4-job fiestas unless weird stuff happens, which technically always possible. I don't expect it. Who knows? Alrighty, by the way, we need 2 more job points that level 1 dash 20 out of 8 out of 30 indicates our job abilities. So just 2 more fights here and we will have our mix ability, which will allow us to mix our first set of stuff. Really. I should kill the white snake first always, because that's the one that can paralyze me. So that was one. So right now, all we can mix is potions, and maybe an ether and an elixir. Which mixing elixir really literally doesn't do anything for you, because elixir is already the maximum. Well, that's not necessarily true. There is some other mixes you can make out of elixirs, but you might as well just use potions instead usually. But generally speaking, you don't want to use elixirs in mixes. Unless you just don't have anything else. Giant's Drink is probably the only mix you can reasonably do with elixirs. Alrighty, we got Combine. This is the name for the mix. Combine is the same as mix in the Game Advance version, it's just different names for the same thing. Develop a new medicine from 2 existing medicines. And that's exactly what we will be doing. So let's just get into combat and show that real quick how that works. So kill this guy here. So you know how potion heals us currently for 100, but the base ability or the baseline of a potion healing is actually only 50. So if we go to Combine and use a potion, and use another potion, and then we use it on ourselves, we get potion. Not a particularly interesting name, but it turns out that it's not 1.8 times the potion healing, or maybe it is. Either way, we heal for 180 using 2 potions, which for a chemist, in combat for that matter, is actually less than if you were to just use 2 individual potions, but you only use 1 action to just use potion, which actually means I don't really need elixirs. I'm fine with not getting elixirs. Double potion, indeed. So in this case, we can actually get out of this place. We already got a bunch of elixirs. They will still be useful. I will still probably be using some once in a while. But we can actually level in a much more convenient place, let's put it that way. Because there's enemies that give a little bit more experience, if I'm not mistaken, and are not exactly much more difficult to take out. As a matter of fact, because I have Butts as the lead character, he will never take any damage at all. A bit of a weird thing to say, but I'll explain that once we get there. Which won't be taking long, but I will want to go ahead and restock potions before we go on. So basically, what the description said for using potion with potion, it says it has 1.8 times the potion healing value. Which I figured, oh, but the potion healing value is just 50, so 1.8 times 50 is not a whole lot, just using a potion would deal more. But that appears to be not how that works. Alrighty, we have 4 gil left. That's okay. We don't need that much, I don't think. And as mentioned before, level 14 is our current goal, and I will be getting this in the Torna Canal. The Torna Canal here is an area where there is enemies, just 2 different types of enemies. And those enemies are kind of strange, because all they ever attack is either Ferris or Lena. They will never ever attack Galuf or Butts, unless you berserk them. That's literally the only way you could have them attack you, because Berserk just overwrites their AI script. But they will never ever attack bots. So what we can do is just run around in here, attack those guys, and wait until we win. And yes, it's 2 times 50 times 1.8. I did not know that the medicine ability would apply for the combined mix as well in the end. Like, I didn't consider it to be a mix by itself, but apparently it is. But it's 2 potions that you're mixing, so 2 times 50. Oh, that's what you mean, Q. I only read the second one. I was just thinking of the medicine ability, and that is why we have double the healing. But that's true, actually. Ignoring the medicine ability. Yeah, alright. Is it possible to beat Omega or Shinryu with a solo character and solo class? Yes, actually. We have beaten Shinryu now with a Dragoon solo and also with a Blue Mage solo. Omega is a lot trickier. In theory, you could probably do it with a Blue Mage. But I know that you can do it with a solo Chemist. It will take a lot of preparation time, but I plan on doing that. Omega, in particular, is a lot more tough to deal with. Shinryu, in theory, you can deal with a lot of character classes that specifically have access to berserking, or, well, berserk one way or another. There is pretty much like 2 character classes that can probably defeat Shinryu without berserking him. One of them is our Chemist here. You can do that, but you also have access to Berserk, so might as well use it, question mark? Either way, the other one is Dragoon. So what we did with the Dragoon is, I actually ended up going for a steal for the Dragoon Lance, or Dragon Lance, so we deal double damage to dragons. And I got it 3rd try, which is ridiculous, by the way. And then I just got lucky enough to jump until he died. It took some repetition, but it was doable. For the Chemist, you can essentially create enough of a buff monstrosity that you will not die to anything instant anymore, but it will take a while until we will be able to get that set up as a chemist. Like, it will take a few repetitions in order to get it set up, but it's possible. I might try to take out Shinryu without any... without berserking him either. If we just berserk him, it's kind of like, whatever, might as well not do it. But if we don't berserk him, that might end up being more interesting. And yes, if you steal from the crystal dragons, the common steal is a elixir, which is pretty good by itself, and the rare steal is the dragonlance, which is also really good if you can use it. Just mix a deadly poison, give it to Shinryu, or whatever his name is. Yeah. There's no way to instantly kill him. The only status effect Shinryu is susceptible to is, as a matter of fact, Berserk. Actually, I think you can slow him. But Shinryu is so fast, even when you slow him, he probably still goes like... slightly faster than you with haste. Probably. Maybe slightly slower. So, once again we are looking for level 14. Because at level 13 I gain a little bit more damage thanks to reaching another bump in attack multiplier for strength. And at level 14 I gain or regain the attack multiplier for agility. So right now I'm still dealing less damage than I did at level 9. Because we lost the attack multiplier of the dagger. Or wait until Shinryu hit itself with Death Roulette. Shinryu is heavy, so even if you hit Shinryu with Death Roulette, it will never actually work. Like, whenever you see Shinryu use Death Roulette, but it just doesn't do anything, generally speaking, it was because it hit Shinryu itself, and it doesn't work because it's immune against instant death. Roulette does not actually ignore instant death at all. So let's see, once we are level 14, we have a total attack multiplier of... 4. Which means we take the base damage of the dagger, which I think is 16? Let me check that real quick. I'm really looking forward to having one more level so we actually one-shot those Octaratons reliably. Let me see real quick. Our current attack power is 14. So 14 times 4. Then there's a little bit of variance added on top of it. But I think the 14 times 4 is the minimum damage we will deal, so that is 56 damage on a target with 0 defense. I wonder whether that's right. That doesn't sound right at all. Oh wait, there's a base attack power that I forgot to include. What is the base attack power? Let's see real quick. Not what I'm looking for. Damage formula. I forget where it is. It's okay. I can find that some other time. Still 60 damage. Oh well. We actually, this time around, have 2 people defending against the floor. And only 1 person defending against whatever is behind us. The fairies and Gallop make sure that the floor doesn't attack us. Oh, I think we leveled up, probably. Can we even get potions around here? No, we're still level 12. It's going slower than I anticipated. Wait, how much experience do we gain here? I didn't even think about that, but... do we actually gain more experience here than in the Wind Shrine? I just assumed we did, but I don't think I actually checked. No, that's not enough damage. I don't know, he has like 4 HP left or so. 63? I don't know. I don't remember. Either way, as you can see, suddenly we deal a lot more damage. At 1 more level we'll deal even more damage on top of it. So once we hit level 14, we go back, save, heal up. And then we will run into the wall of Carboss until we run through the wall straight up. I actually have no idea what the Chemist learns after the first 2 shop levels. It's going to be quite interesting. By the way, when you're in getting back attacked, you're starting in the opposite row of where you initially are normally. So if I'm in the front row, I will start in the back row. If I'm in the back row, I will start in the front row. So back attacks for characters that normally want to be in the back row can be pretty devastating. Why was it that Butts doesn't get attacked? Essentially, the enemies in here, for whatever reason, they only ever attack Lena and Theris. They never attack Butts, they never attack Galaf. That's just what they do. I don't think there was ever any particular statement as to why that is. But there's kind of popular theories around for that reason, or for that matter. I'm actually going to use a potion here because they can drop potions. Again, you can make the theories all you like. It might be kind of a clever way of sneaking something not safe for work into a game that is kind of unassuming unless you are paying really good attention. They are ultras in 12? I don't actually know 12 at all for that matter. So I guess. Well, let's see, how many more do we need? 703. Alright. That's like 10-15 battles. Somewhere in that region. Shouldn't take too long. I mean, while grinding here, actually I could have continued planning out a little bit further. But I kind of missed that opportunity because we're almost done grinding at this point. Hang on. Oh, we gained drink. I see. I didn't realize, I didn't think about that, but it's true. And I'm actually curious what the next ability is going to be. Will probably take quite a while until we get that last ability for the Chemist, and by then I will likely forget about it. Oh well. That's okay. Chemist actually has a lot more HP than I would have anticipated. Maybe I'm just really taken aback by having to do Carboss, excuse me, at level 5 with the blue mage, having so little HP, and the dancer just having basically no HP at all in the first place. On the bright side, actually, the most difficult character that we had to get past Carboss so far was the Dragoon. And Dragoon has pretty solid strength, so we were able to reach certain levels of attack power a bit more easily. The Chemist we would have to level a fair bit more, but I think this amount of attack power should be sufficient once we reach level 14. Essentially, eventually, you have diminishing returns on how much time you invest to grind, versus how much you increase your odds to actually win in comparison. And then there's White Mage, I was just thinking about. I think we will level up to level 21 or 23 with the White Mage, in order to have at least a somewhat reasonable chance of defeating Ultros. And then it still took dozens and dozens of attempts until it finally worked out. I still got really lucky, because compared to a certain somebody else, I've defeated Carboss with a solo White Mage significantly faster. Just curious how much longer it's going to take. Still 41. It's going to be rather quick. after this it's going to be about 180, I guess. Or is this only like 40? Ah, it's only like 40. So just a little bit above 20 experience per enemy. So that means about 10 more enemies and we are done. So if we get 2 times 3 and 3 times 2, it will be the perfect amount. So that's 1, 2. Didn't Goose spend like 24 hours just to kill it? He spent 16 hours to kill it. I got it in like 11. But to be fair, Magus also used Lena as his main character, and Lena needed to level up 2 more levels in order to get the exact same attack multiplier compared to Ferris. Butts would actually have gotten it a little bit earlier than Ferris, but that's kind of the only advantage Butts would have in that battle. But either way, I need to get stupidly lucky, and I did get stupidly lucky, because if you have not seen the highlight of me with the solo blue-white mage defeating Carboss, I highly recommend you watch it, just that one. Without spoiling it, it was just ridiculous. Great to see you, Delphi Knight. Thank you for the good luck. Can definitely need that. Actually, can definitely use that very, very shortly here. Do the thing. That's the plan. Alrighty, one more battle after this and we should be leveling up to level 14, where we will deal a bit more damage, and then it is up to Carboss. Just to see how long this will take. So we can get really, really lucky and get it within a few tries. Oh, we got the level already. Nice. We can get really, really lucky and get it within a few tries. Or the more likely case scenario is that we are going to be dying about 20 times before that happens. Oops, come on. Alrighty, so for anybody who does not know Carboss, Carboss is the very first boss that should teach you teamwork. Essentially, the idea is that, oh, you have a team of characters, they can help and heal each other. Well, the problem is I'm a solo character. I don't have a team of characters that can help and heal each other. Willard J. Bradley, thank you for the massive host. I really appreciate that. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to just about the first real boss in the solo character challenge for a Chemist. Chemist doesn't have any good tools to deal with this upcoming lobster at all, so we will have to rely a lot on luck in order to be able to defeat this guy. And hey Willard, thank you, I really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. And what did you do over there, if I may ask? Thank you for the good luck. Either way, Carboss is the embodiment of why solo character challenges are probably not intended. Because in the first turn, he has a 2 in 3 chance to attack me with a stun attack, deal damage a little bit and then stun, which means I'm paralyzed for like 4 turns or so. I don't know how many turns it is, it's a long time. Either way, then in the second turn, he has a 1 in 3 chance to use Tail Screw, which... oh nice, thank you. A Tail Screw attack will put me into critical HP, meaning I have to heal. Thankfully, I guess the one advantage of a thing we have here is we can heal for 180 without using an elixir. Unfortunately, he can do this as well in the third turn. And then we is back at the first turn where he can have a 1 in 3 chance, 2 in 3 chance to stun attack with Tentacle. By the way, he can also stun attack with in the second turn. With Tentacle. So this is kind of the classic way to die against Carboss. The 1 in 3 chance for him to use that attack that puts us into critical HP, meaning 9 HP or less. And he will happily use that in order to defeat us. So the classic combination is he stuns us, then he uses Tail Screw to put us into critical HP, and then he attacks us. We could, in theory, have survived after he paralyzed and then used Tail Screw if he used another Tail Screw right after, because Tail Screw doesn't instantly kill you, it just puts you into critical HP, so if you use 2 Tail Screws in a row, you could, in theory, survive. But, once again, we will need a lot of luck in order to accomplish this. Chemist is pretty much the most powerful individual class in the entire game, but because we don't have access to enough materials to mix together specific ingredients, that unfortunately does not really show until we are past this guy and a little bit further into the game. Rusted Grill, thank you! You did a solo character all class assumption, this boss is still terrible. Yes. You could just use... yeah. Certain classes have a decent advantage or shot against him, but Chemist is not one of them. And this will get even worse with classes like the Summoner, who have even lower maximum strength. Oh, and we already have to heal without even dealing any damage at first. Either way, thank you so much, Rusted Grail, for 28 romps. I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Alrighty, we get to attack once. 96 damage. He has 650 HP, which means we need to attack 7 times in order to defeat him. Probably. And we are stunned. I haven't kept track of which turn he is in. You know what, I might as well use elixirs here. Just in case he decides to do a series of just regular attacks after stunning me and I can't do anything in between, at least I would survive it for a while. Unlikely for him to do that, but it can happen. And I think he would have actually just killed me with physicals if I didn't use an elixir. Yup, certainly would have. He keeps doing that. It's just, what are you gonna do? Nothing. Just wait. Come on, dude. And hey, I get to heal myself. Isn't that nice? Actually, here's the thing. How many times did I hit him? Like 3 times? It might be more reasonable, or my chances to win might be better if I attack him first, because I get the opportunity to attack. And then just hope he doesn't use another paralyzing move next. The thing is, I didn't keep track of which turn he is in, so if he is on the first turn next, he would have a 2 in 3 chance to use paralyzing move, otherwise a 1 in 3, and I would get to do something else. So let's just attack and hope that it will be fine. Right, we are okay. Use another elixir. Alrighty, we're actually pretty good here. 2 more attacks after this, I think, and we're done. Just a little bit luckier. Okay. I think we might have just gotten it. Nope. Not quite enough damage. But I'm pretty sure this should be enough damage. So instead of healing, we attack. It wasn't enough! How am I this far off? What? How am I this far off in terms of calculation? I mean, I'm terrible at keeping count, but this terrible? I was certain that must have been the 7th hit. I was so certain. Oh well. Rip indeed. I think you were single digits off on damage rolls, potentially. Potentially. The thing is, I guess if I get 7 times 9, that is only 630. Or 7 times 90. But I figured I should get at least a little bit above that. No, you're right actually. I probably need 9 attack as 8 attacks. So I probably was at 7, and that is exactly what likely happened. Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see what our minimum and maximum damage is. And also, one thing that you probably want to do in this game is open up a calculator and keep track of how much damage exactly we deal. So I'll have now a calculator open on the side here. And this hopefully will not happen anymore. Might have been a damage roll thing indeed. Alright, thank you. Okay, we start with 96 damage. Actually, yeah, you're right. This is not enough if I get that many. So if you tail screws now, I would be dead because he will be back on the first turn. So this is a 1 in 3 chance again. Right. Next he can 1 in 3 tail screw or a paralyze. I prefer him to not use tail screw. Same thing here. Tail screw. I have to heal because he can not tail screw next turn. He can only... attack would be the best option. It's actually always the best option for him to just regularly attack. So in order to survive, he needs to use tail screw again. He could do that, but unfortunately he decides not to, so rip that idea. By the way, kind of as a heads up, I will probably be done streaming for today once we reach the 2-hour mark, even if we haven't quite yet beaten Carboss. The hope is on mine is just to defeat Carboss, then get to the next save point and save. That would be the idea. And then pretty much during the turtle shell grind we will be going ahead and plan out the rest of the run. I think that works out actually pretty well. I earlier today said that I feel like I'm really not prepared for a Chemist run, just because there's so many things to remember and so many little things that you can do or would want to know. But here we are. But yeah, actually it is 8 attacks, isn't it? Tail Screw. We could go for the 1 in 3 where he uses Tail Screw a second time and attack instead. Otherwise we go for the 1 in 3 where he just physically attacks. Actually, here's a reasoning to go for the attack instead of for a tail screw now that I think about it. Because if we just go for a heal now, we just kind of bank off him using an attack move instead of another tail screw. If another tail screw, I have to heal again. If he uses a paralyzing attack, I kind of lose my turn anyways. So I'm not gonna get any other turn, but I would survive the next turns. But I think actually tail screw might be better for, or just banking on another tail screw might be better in the long run. Is it? Because the only time I get to attack properly is when he goes for the 1 in 3 physical attack instead. I might live a bit longer if I heal instead, but the payoff might not be there. Actually, that's not necessarily true, because even if he stuns me next turn, and I have enough HP, he will always attack and not stun me again the next turn after. So this might actually be better to heal, in specifically when he uses Tail Screw turn 2. And we just get to test this in practice. So now he is going for an attack. It doesn't matter whether it's an attack or a tail. And here we go. So we essentially get our turn earlier, plus 90. Here's the Tail Screw. We have to heal. Because the next is always going to be a physical damage no matter what. Righty, 96. Pretty good. Plus 90. 90 seems to be the most common roll that we have. And I haven't kept track of his HP or the turns anymore, unfortunately. So I don't know what is next. I think this is the first turn again. So next he can Tail Screw. It didn't, that's good. Next he can Tail Screw again, if he feels like it. Preferably a physical attack. Alright, we have to heal. There's not much we can do about that, and we can only use combined to heal, really. Unfortunately, Tentacle might just kill us outright. He could use Tail Screw. Alright. Now we hope for him to just use a regular attack. Actually, I think I have to heal regardless. Because I have a 1 in 3 chance to survive if I don't heal. Actually, no, my chance is slightly higher than that. Let's go for an attack instead. 84. Oh, that's a low roll. Okay, Tentacle. So he can't just attack and then Tail Screw, or Tail Screw, and we will survive. See? We survived. Tentacle is back in the first turn. Now he's in the second turn again, where he can use Tail Screw. Alright, I really need you to not use those attacks anymore, please. I just need him to physically attack. I'm dead no matter what, actually. Because he could use Tail Screw here, which would buy me one more turn, but I would die then on the subsequent turn because I don't get my turn quick enough. But that's unfortunate. We dealt 450 damage. So yes. Unfortunately, we need actually more than 7 hits. We need 8. I'm actually curious what the probability is of getting 8 hits instead of 7. Like, there's the potential for exponential stuff to happen. I don't know how to explain it, but the probability of how much more likely it is to defeat him if you can kill him within 7 attacks might be significantly higher than with just 6 attacks. 8 attacks. Because it also feels like a little bit pointless to be able to deal almost enough damage to defeat him in 7 attacks, but not quite. Let's see, what would be the next level that we would need to go to in order to deal a little bit more damage here? Oh, actually got a good ATB. 90 damage for now, that's nice. So I would need to be level... Oh, that's... We would need to go all the way to level 18. By the way, we are dead because there's nothing I can do about that. Did I increase the death counter for the previous one? I think I did. So in this case, he could never have used Tail Screw a second time because he was back in his first turn. He only has 3 possible turns. Turn 1, he uses attack 1 in 3 times. 2 in 3 times he uses attack and paralyze. Then second turn, he has a 1 in 3 chance to just regular attack, 1 in 3 chance to just paralyze attack, and 1 in 3 chance to use Tail Screw. The same goes for the third turn, 1 in 3, paralyze 1 in 3, attack 1 in 3, tail screw, and then he's back to the top of the round. So essentially, if he paralyzes me in the second turn, and then tail screws me in the third, I will never survive. The only character who could, in theory, survive that kind of thing would be a samurai, if I'm not mistaken. Because a samurai has an innate ability of dodging attacks. Actually, I guess there's also other classes that can use the leather shield and have a 10% chance to survive. So I guess it's not only the samurai. But I guess only the samurai who has a decent chance at it. Alrighty, we get another good start. 102. This is very nice. This is very nice. Another 102. I guess we actually could... By the way, we're never going to die in the next turn. We could, in theory, get lucky enough to defeat him in 7 attacks. But that would be quite a bit of luck. So, once again, I could go for a heal, but that's the second turn tail screw. I guess I always heal. Alright, we will never die in the next attack, because in round 1 again. So now I would like you to attack physically, normally. Not tail screw, that's just mean. And we have to heal. There's no other way around it. And he needs to use tail screw a second time, otherwise we're dead here. Nope. The classic tail screw into... or paralyze into tail screw into attack. I mean, you can't say that he doesn't use his full range of abilities, because he only has 3 things he can do. And uses the perfect combination of those 3 things to just kill us. There's nothing you can do about that. F indeed. The classic you die. GG. Indeed. On the bright side, it's just luck, whether it works out or not. I'm not sure why that's a bright side, though. Why would I say that? Oh wow, Mecha Richter is now hosting you for a bunch of viewers too. Thank you, Mecha. I appreciate that. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome everybody. We are currently just started with the Final Fantasy V single character, single job challenge with the Chemist. I used a cheat code in order to unlock the Chemist earlier than what you normally have access to in this game. And now we're trying to beat one of the biggest walls, probably the biggest wall in the entire game, Carboss, because he can just stun me, then use a tail screw attack to put me into critical HP, and then just attack again in order to kill me. Sometimes he uses tail screw twice in a row, which is the only way I survive this kind of combo move, and then we're back at the top of the round, so he can have... oh, regular attack for once. Hey, that's nice. I get to attack. 84, we need to deal 650 damage in order to kill this guy. Hey Mecha, good morning to you, welcome, how are you doing? And if I may ask, what were you doing? I hope you're doing well. Tail screw, I have to heal again. I'm actually going to combine the potion thing here. Doesn't heal as much as the elixir, but it might not be necessary. Hey, we get to attack again, that's nice. 84 rolls are really low though, that's unfortunate. Gonna attack again, that's my 4th attack, 102 better. Tentacle paralyzes us. I actually completely lost where we are in the AI routine. Heal screw, I'm actually kind of okay with that because I needed to heal anyways. You're playing some Metal Slug 3 and 4. I see. Did you manage to get your... Did you manage to get your single character clear on hard mode by now? That seemed to be pretty ridiculously insane if you ask me. I was lurking for a while. Metal Slug is actually one of those games that I played a bunch, curiously enough. You did it on X. Nice. 3, not quite yet. I'll never play through those games casually a little bit. So I'm not entirely... I don't really know the games, but I know they are rather difficult to complete without dying. We are actually getting really close. We can never kill him with one more attack. We are 104 damage away. Our best damage roll is 102 damage. So we need at least 2 more attacks in order to kill this guy. And... I don't... Once again, I haven't kept track of which turn we are on. If this would be a 1 in 3 chance to defeat him right here, because he could use Tailscrew a second time, I might have done it. And yes, this is just one character, which is why Carboss is such a gigantic hurdle. He is not designed to be taken on with a single character, as you might be able to tell. Could you give me some regular attacks sometime, please? I would really appreciate that. Oh, now we need another Tailscrew in order to survive here. Oh, we got that. We always have to heal here, because he will never do a third Tailscrew in a row. This is the first turn. Now he has a 1 in 3 chance for Tailscrew. Alright. And once again, same deal as before. Next turn he will never Tailscrew. So, just hoping for the regular attacks here, buddy. 1 in 3 chance to regular attack. Oh, and now we need him to Tailscrew again. 1 in 3. Ah, I didn't do it. Okay. Death number 7. Yes, Carboss is not friendly towards characters. There is... Most of the characters struggle against this guy, one way or another. Some characters have really strong tools against him. Like if you start with Black Mage can absolutely demolish this guy by exploiting the lightning weakness. Blue Mage can use Goblin Punch to deal a tremendous amount of damage. By being the exact same level as he is, you can destroy him with some various other moves of characters that come later. Like Dancer had it relatively easy against Carboss just by virtue of having the dance move, which deals 4 times damage. But a lot of character classes will just have to take him on with a dagger and nothing else. A dagger, a few levels, and a lot of courage and repetition. Once again, there's a 1 in 3 chance for him to stun me in the first turn. 1 in 3 chance to not stun me in the first turn. He has a 2 in 3 chance to use a paralyzing attack. So that is what usually happens, but we just need to get lucky. Just a little. Solar Berserker? Oh boy. Solar Berserker cannot even heal. But that's not even the biggest problem about it. Actually, no, never mind, that's exactly the biggest problem about it. Tailscrew. I'm gonna combine a potion here because I could Tailscrew right away again. And he did. Now I'm using an elixir because he will never use a Tailscrew again afterwards because he's back in turn 1. 1 in 3 chance to attack normally. 2 in 3 chance to stun me. He's in turn 1 again. 1 in 3 chance to attack normally. Hey, we get a normal attack for once. Isn't that nice? Plus 90, we have 2 attacks in so far. Tailscrew. Alrighty, he is in the second turn. That means he could Tailscrew again next turn if he wants to. And he did. Now we use the elixir because he will never Tailscrew next turn. 5 minutes left, yeah. I'm gonna give it like 2 more tries maybe. Maybe 1, maybe 2. And then that will be it for today. I really hope they will get past Carboss. But I ended up with the planning session a lot longer than I anticipated. Which maybe I should just anticipate it to be a lot longer than I think initially anyways. Because I always spend so much time planning. You only really realize it when you have a timer around next to you. How long have I spent on this stuff now? I don't know. Speaking of I don't know. I don't know which turn I am anymore. So I'm using an elixir. We need another Tailscrew. I don't know whether he can even do that right now. Whether he could or not, he didn't. Alrighty, let's see 2 more tries. This one and the next one. And then that is probably it for me for today. Because I started a lot later than I wanted to. Mainly because I was still finalizing the spreadsheet for the template for planning for future solo characters. I actually kind of like how it turned out in the end. But it's not the most effective time use for a streamer, I dare to say. The thing is, streaming, making the spreadsheet, while I think some people would be interested, I prefer not to stream those kinds of tasks, since I just like to listen to other stuff on the side myself. And if I want to just only focus on it without having to worry about any other interactions like chat or so on the side. But at the same time I do know that quite a few people like watching the planning phase, so I figured the spreadsheet creation they don't need to watch. But the planning for the character itself might be quite interesting. So here we are, 102. Tailscrew. Hey, we can actually get 2 attacks in. That's pretty good. So, 1 in 3 chance for him to kill me here with the tentacle, actually. Because he could have used tentacle and he would have killed me, pretty much no matter what. Thankfully he used Tailscrew, which ironically is the one that didn't kill me in this case. An attack would also not have killed me, but I would have had to heal regardless. Alrighty, we are back here. This is turn 2 now. Stun attack. Turn 2 stun attack I think is the worst case scenario, because he can't just kill me outright like there. Last 1 death. Because he will never use a Tailscrew in the first turn, so we are dead. 284 damage in case anybody is curious. Alrighty, last try. Let's make it a good one. It's actually kind of curious to think about, by the way. The reason why I don't speedrun turn-based games is because of exactly situations like this, where it's just completely outside of your control whether you're going to be successful or not, or whether stuff works out or not. At least in action-based games, you have a lot more agency, a lot more things you can do yourself to do just kind of a little bit better and get a little bit more time out of the entire deal. These kinds of games, Yeah, not so much. There's a lot to planning, there's a lot to menuing, there's a lot to proper execution, but it's just... a lot of it is also just a gigantic dice roll, and for that matter, it requires a completely different type of skill in order to get good times in these kinds of games. That is mental fortitude. Which, I have an okay amount of mental fortitude, but I just don't want to subject myself to having to test it. But challenge runs, on the other hand, you just do it once and you're done. You need one success among 100 failures. That's okay. Are you just going to the classic? Not quite. Attack, please. He really doesn't like to do physical attacks right now. Turn 2. I have to heal. Well, I could technically go for the 1 in 3 for him to use Tails for a second time. Turn 3. Turn 1. Turn 2. Turn 3. Turn 1. He actually has to use Tail Screw in one of the next turns, otherwise I'm gonna be dead. He has to use Tail Screw here. Which he did, okay. Alrighty. I haven't gotten a single attack in yet. Now we have 1. Isn't that nice? 102 is a pretty good one too. Alright. Oh, we are dead because next turn is turn 1 and they can never Tail Screw second time. Alrighty, and that's that. Carboss is a real wall boss, and we did not manage to get past him. But at the same time, we've managed to get far enough that we should be able to deal with him in an hour, maybe 2. Depending on how lucky we get. It doesn't require that much luck, but I would guess that the probability is like 10% success chance. That's okay. I've had to deal with worse. So yeah, once again, thank you everybody for watching, for listening, and for lurking. We will be continuing this sometime soon. I will also go back to Zelda Link to the Past randomizer sometime soon-ish. Not entirely sure when. And also, Secret of Mana glitchless speedruns will be happening too, because just in case I manage to attend RPG Limit Break, I should also be prepared for the run that I have submitted, assuming it gets in. Either way, once again, thank you very much for watching, for listening, and for lurking, and hopefully until next time. Take care everybody, and thank you very much. Oh, and Scusa Maru, thank you. Welcome back to you.